Headphone rattling. Yeah.
Hey.
Live
Good feeling about today.
from an ESG-shaped ESG cake. Well, of course that ESG cake's going to be ESG-shaped.
What shape is that?
It's the ESG industry's only weekly woke data podcast featuring analyst whole Matt Biscardi. Yeah, woo!
Hey, ooh. Do me a favor before you keep introing. Turn your volume down because you're
I forgot to check that. See, we don't do the show regularly enough anymore, and I forget to check this stuff.
Well, nobody. Remember when we put out a call saying like,
Nobody cares.
if you want to hear us do
Nobody
the show
responds.
more often, the number of responses was underwhelming. Let's just say that.
And today's ESG flavored ESG sandwich called December 13th, 2023 Biz Nuggets!
That's right. Let's just do the nuggets. It's so long coming. I've missed them terribly.
Our show today is being sponsored by FreeFlow Analytics, the only ESG data platform to measure real board influence and diversity power gaps.
Yeah.
Ready?
Got the nuggets music going already.
I'll start us off. In our Hey Ma, the next Superman movie is starring Sam Altman, and he's fighting China. Tell Dad.
Wouldn't it be China?
Headline of the week.
It's a Boston accent.
OpenAI investor Vinod Khosla says people should worry more about China than Ascension AI killing us off.
Wow.
You see that? That's the Mark Zuckerberg tactic.
That is literally.
Don't look at me, worry about China.
Look over there. There's another country you can look at.
In our 8% of CEOs in the S&P 500 are women, just behind cartoon white men, which make up 24% of S&P 500 CEOs.
Really?
Headline of the week. A black Twitch streamer says he got thousands more views when he changed his avatar to a cartoon white man.
Wow. Did he change it to a cartoon drawn by Scott Adams of the Dilbert artist?
It looks a lot like the cartoon white man that was my avatar that all the VCs told us don't use. You have to use your real photo. But it was a bearded white guy.
This is actually a real thing. We went to Dolly, the image generator, and I asked Damien to give me a description of himself that didn't mention his actual features. It was like hipster or just kind of
snowflake, hipster.
It literally
analyst,
spit out Damien.
doofus.
It was like doofus, hipster, idiot, and it was Damien.
In the egg, it turns out, featured a swastika on one side and a picture of Alex Jones on the other side, and was laid by Tesla's CEO Elon Musk. The board had no comment other than from the CEO's brother Kimball Musk, who merely said, "Dude."
I love his reacts.
Headline of the week. Thank goodness Tesla's humanoid robot Optimus can now squat and pick up an egg.
Yeah, finally. Hey, have you ever watched on YouTube those react clips where people who've never heard
Occasionally, yeah.
metal or
grandpa's listening to Public Enemy kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. I think we should have that for the Tesla boardroom where every time Elon tweets, there's just a react camera being
this.
dude, man, did you see that one? That'd be awesome.
In the company's apology, it said the ads were meant to remind shoppers of female models with eating disorders and unsustainable fast fashion items that its customers can't really afford in the first place. Headline of the week. Spanish fashion giant Zara is pulling ads that reminded shoppers of Israel's war against Hamas in Gaza.
They really blew it here. The CMO should get fired because they were trying to remind them about unsustainable eating habits.
In our one tech CEO said, wait, directors are actually allowed to fire us? While another tech CEO said, Didn't you see the end of the Sam Altman story? While another tech CEO said, so we can just fire the board if we want to?
Yeah.
While another tech CEO said, yes, but you can only fire female board members. Headline of the week. Tech CEOs freaked out about Sam Altman's firing in a giant group chat. That's right, 100 tech CEOs, Matt,
this is a great
talk
story.
Together on WhatsApp. This is absolutely true.
Yeah, and unfortunately, FreeFlow Analytics connection data does not have access to the fact that they complain about their wives cooking on a group chat of WhatsApp. So that's a future data point. But it's a great chat room. I'm looking to get invited.
And our former WeWork founder and CEO, Adam Newman, finally has something to celebrate. Headline of the week.
Yeah.
Climate activist Al Gore blasts COP28 outcome as biggest failure in history. Reads as if OPEC dictated it word for word.
I'm not sure I get your joke here. Did
Adam
Gore
Newman's
fail
no
up?
longer the biggest failure in history. It's the COP28.
Finally, he's
Yeah.
number 2.
All right, why don't you take over for a little while? I gotta
All right, I got
drink
a
some
few.
hot beverage.
And speaking of COP28, in our "We did it, people," paragraph 92, subparagraph 3, bullet number 1, quote, "We hereby agree to gently nudge our way towards avoiding oblivion." Headline of the week.
Oh.
In a first, nations at the climate summit agree to shift from fossil fuels. They've agreed to shift.
Yeah. It's also not binding, just like say on pay.
It's non-binding.
Yeah.
And they did not agree to phase out. They did not agree
Shift.
to they just shift.
Well,
They're shuffling their way
Probably-
towards 2050.
now might be a good time to tell the audience the shift key is probably my least favorite key on the keyboard. The shift key.
I know. Use caps lock, not shift. Come on. Nobody likes shift. In our "We did it, people," part 2, paragraph 17, subparagraph 4, quote, "With this agreement, we can officially say we are at the prelude to the beginning of the middle of the coda of fossil fuels." Headline of the week. COP28 summit agreement hailed as beginning of the end for fossil fuels.
The beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end.
That sounds like it might take a long time.
I know, we're
Right?
just
Like, think
we're
of how
just
long-
started.
Think how long, like, if you said that when Charlie Munger was born, it was the beginning of the end of Charlie Munger. It took 99 years for Charlie
it took
Munger
a
to
really
end.
long time. Well, you don't have to go back to Charlie Munger times. It was like the 1840s when we had basically oil rushes in, like, globally, right? So the beginning of the end of fossil fuels, that would suggest that we've gone just to the end. So we probably have 50 to 75 years, a minimum, right? Congratulations to us. Now this is a little bit of a sideswipe here, but the headline made me laugh. In our "What G can learn from S when E is taking the day off due to an overdose of the SEC," headline of the week.
Huh?
What DEI can learn from ESG. That was the headline.
What? Okay.
What DEI can learn from ESG. Isn't DEI part of the S of ESG?
I don't think anyone knows that. I don't think anyone knows what
apparently
ESG
not.
is.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
And then to follow up to that, what can S learn from G when G crashes itself into a taco truck on the highway? Headline of the week. Elon Musk's Tesla recalls 2 million cars in U.S. over autopilot defect.
Yeah, I saw that.
Isn't that all the cars?
Yeah.
That's all of them. That's everyone.
Oh, well.
Why is this person still the CEO?
Ah.
They've had to recall every car twice.
Well, if you look at our data, Matt, I can tell you why. Because he controls over 50% of the influence on that board.
unbelievable.
Having his brother Kimball helps that.
It does help. On the menu, we have a delightful cotton candy rub steak with French fried broccoli that we think pairs nicely with our Krispy Kreme tequila donut equise. Headline of the week. Doritos unveils nacho cheese flavored booze that costs $65 a bottle.
Yeah, I like that one.
You
Yeah,
like
why
the
not?
headline?
Yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
of
I mean,
course.
this is America. What are we doing here?
In our Doritos unveils nacho cheese flavored airplane seats headline of the
Ooh.
week, Southwest Airlines celebrated for policy to give a full row to passengers of size for free.
Yeah, I'm a little unclear about this one.
So this was in Fox Business News,
Yeah.
which means they thought it was horrible and woke.
Okay,
But-
so it's woke to give them the whole row.
It's woke because we're giving passengers of size the whole row. And the same Doritos story was in Fox Business News, heralding.
Wait, what?
I'm not kidding.
What do we did we define a full row? Is that 2 seats, 3 seats, 5 seats, 7 seats? How many seats is a full row?
I mean, this is Southwest, so I'm guessing it's somewhere underneath the
one.
carriage.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like next to the bathroom. In our hypocrite angry at hypocrite for hypocrisy headline of the week,
Ooh.
Senator Rubio slams corporations for remaining on TikTok despite boycotting X.
Matt, that headline you just came up with, that could be for almost all of our news these days, right?
That's
Like almost
basically
every single
It's
article.
everything.
Yeah.
It's everything, everywhere.
Speaking of which,
In our finally, someone will put an end to those pesky anti-Semites headline of the week, Elon Musk is calling for Harvard's defunding.
yeah, amazing.
Defund Harvard.
Amazing.
Does he know how Harvard is funded? It's not funded by the government.
Well,
It's not
according to
funded.
Bill
Who's
Ackman,
defunding them?
it's funded by him.
Yes, entirely.
Yeah.
And
But
I
without
would
Bill Ackman, without his stupid donations, Harvard really shouldn't exist.
I would like to say that there was a great story in the Times yesterday about how Bill Ackman is pissed not because of anti-Semitism, but because of like feeling like they weren't buttering him up enough for years prior to that.
They did because he didn't like the way they handled his gift of some stock a few years ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
gave him some stock. They lost out on some $75 million
Blah,
by
blah,
selling
blah.
it too early.
Blah, blah, blah.
He's really upset with them. They won't take his phone calls the minute he calls. This is petulant man baby stuff. Congratulations. And finally, for me, your favorite word, finally.
Yeah, from you.
In our Remember Kids, we parked in anti-trans lot near the DEI's discrimination poll on floor women suck headline of the week.
Ooh.
Conservatives' anti-woke alternative to Disney has finally arrived. That's right. There is an anti-woke alternative to Disney now where they're putting out these movies. The first one is going to be called Lady Ballers, in which men dressed as women dunk on women and make fun of trans people and women. That's the whole premise. Wonderful. They're really, really stepping it up.
All right, let me finish this off. I have a few more here for you on our Big Biz Nuggets show, December 13th, 2023. In our Merry Fucking Christmas, Assholes headline of the week.
Ouch.
Toy maker Hasbro lays off 1,100 staff as holiday season fails to lift sales.
Oh, ow.
Oh, wait a minute. In our Merry Fucking Christmas, Assholes Part 2 headline of the week, State Street will lay off 1,500 employees before year's end. Yay!
Well, I feel worse for the Hasbro staff. That feels worse.
And finally, in our Happy Birthday Idiots headline of the week,
Wow, a lot of celebrations.
Norfolk Southern, remember them? To end
I do.
relocation aid right after 1 year anniversary of its fiery Ohio derailment.
Finally. If only that anniversary coincided with the anniversary of Sandy Hook so that we can have Alex Jones on X and no more relocation from Norfolk Southern.
In our UAW's Sean Fain called back 15 minutes later and said, "It was clear I wasn't talking about Kimball, right?" Headline of the week. UAW's Sean Fain rips the Musks of the world for taking advantage of workers scraping to get by paycheck by paycheck.
Tosca Musk is somewhere really upset right now.
Yeah.
Like, why am I in there?
In our House panel subpoenas Panera sandwich makers in ESG shareholder primacy probe, Headline of the week. That might actually happen. I mean, that could actually happen.
I actually thought you were reading a real headline.
Panera founder says employees today aren't motivated by the idea of making money for shareholders. Nobody cares.
What?
I know.
What is?
But they should be subpoenaed for that, though, I think.
At what point were employees really excited to make money for shareholders?
In our order new uniforms to make them less see-through? Now, why the hell would we do that when we can tell our female employees what kind of underwear they should be wearing instead? Headline of the week. British Airways told female flight attendants to wear white bras at work because their new uniforms are nearly see-through.
Yeah. It's I'm not sure I understand the strategy there.
Yeah. Well, luckily for the female employees there at British Airways, they have a union, and then union said,
No.
Yeah.
No.
And it worked. Yeah, so. And finally, in a Big Biz Nugget show.
Oh, so sad. We're done already.
In our...
Wow, you're...
I know.
What is that?
In our... His prep bag includes shoelace-less sneakers, a monkey-shaped cake with a file-sized chip implanted into its brain, and a handwritten note that says, "It's the Jews' fault."
Oh, I don't like this at all.
Headline of the week.
This one makes me uncomfortable.
Elon Musk says he's prepared to go to prison if U.S. government tries to censor X.
Oh, finally, a martyr.
Yes,
a martyr among
yes.
martyrs. It's like a true Jesus. This is, I believe this is what Jesus was.
A self-hating Jew Jesus, I guess.
Wow. I missed nuggets, but
Well, there you go.
They're
Quick and
too
easy.
short. They're
Yeah.
too short for me. That's all we got.
Come on, that was 22 delicious nuggets. That's not enough for you?
That's Hazelnut Rawless. I am your analyst, Matt Muscardi. We are going to, it's worth saying here, if you haven't gotten the Proxy Countdown last week, the first episode dropped. The Proxy Countdown is coming out again tomorrow, and we've got
Packed
some
full of
big
information.
stories. It's packed full of stuff coming out for the AGM at Visa. There's proxy fights going on. We've got results in from Microsoft, and they're like really, really great gender pay gap, fake anti-woke vote. All sorts of stuff. You got to check that out. Until then, goodbye.